Hey, what's up guys? This is Justin Lance from Montani Barbell, and today we're going to talk about the Anderson squat. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who Paul Anderson was, he was an old Timey Strongman, gold medalist, Olympic lifter, and world champion Olympic lifter, and he's really one of the first powerlifters. Okay, he built a tremendous squat and tremendous strength using a lot of equipment that he made himself on his farm in rural Georgia. Okay, so one of these movements is, as you saw at the beginning of the video, a dead start squat performed with a bar that was welded to these 55-gallon barrels, and he has dug a hole in the ground so you could get down underneath the bar and squat the thing up. Okay, he would fill the hole in gradually so it would increase the range of motion so he could work on different points of the lift. So the deeper the hole was, the less of the range of motion he had, so it was more of a lockout movement. And then as he filled the hole in, it made the range of motion increase, so then he's working on the hole, right? So his power out of the bottom. Okay, so kind of the modern application of this would be to set the bar up in a power rack. Okay, you can set it on pins, which is a lot more difficult to get set up, but if that's all you got access to, that's all you got access to. I went and bought some toe straps and like a 3-foot length of chain, okay, and set it up so the bar is suspended from these straps, so it's a lot easier to get set up because the thing can move forward or back, right? It has that free swing to it. So instead of having to like waddle underneath the bar that's kind of stuck on these pins, you could set yourself up, push the bar forward, get set up the rest of the way, and then kind of like drop your hips back and pause and then go, right? So why do this movement? Okay, like I said earlier, it depends on where you sit it at, but for me, I like it as a drill to learn how to drive your traps up through the bar and to build strength out of the hole. Okay, I like setting it up in the hole. You could set it up higher so you're working on like the lockout portion of the lift, so then you can get like kind of an overload. But I like setting it up in the bottom so then we get more of an underload. Okay, for example, like I really pushed my box squat hard the prior week, so this weekend when I went in to do my max effort lower, I did a Anderson because it's underload, right? Like, I can't use as much weight, so it's not going to be hard on your nervous system in that respect, right? The next kind of like big thing is it's going to teach you how to drive your traps through the bar to get the thing to budge. Because like if your ass rises first, you're not going to break it off the pins. It just probably ain't going to happen, right? Once you get to a maximum weight, it ain't going to happen. Speaking of max effort, I really like this as a max effort movement. Some people program it in, it's like kind of a supplemental, like 5x5 or whatever, but I like getting a max single on this movement because you really, really have to grind and drive hard into the bar to get it to move. Okay, so now we're building power out of the hole because it's a quasi-isometric movement with maximum weight. Okay, so you really have to grind to get it to break the pins, and then you drive it up from there. The next kind of way to elevate the movement to a whole nother level is to add bands or chains to it. Okay, because then it makes the movement hard from start to finish. The bands make it almost too hard because they're yanking down on the bar. So it makes it really hard to get started, and as you know with bands, it makes it really hard to finish too, right? I like the chains on it because you're still getting that kind of like explosive start, and then you're trying to outrun the chain as they come off the ground, so you really got to drive hard through the whole movement. Technique. Set up just like how you normally would. For me, I take that wide stance, pinch everything back, push the bar forward, get locked in, fill my belly full of air, drive my knees out, and then drop my traps into the bar. That's it. Simple. Just get set up, get tight, and fucking strain, man. Just strain your ass off. So variations. I kind of cut this into 4, okay? You have the classical Anderson, you have the West Side style Anderson, you have the Zercher style Anderson, and then you have the Hoff squat. Classical Anderson. Okay, this is where you just have it set up on either the pin or the strap. There's nothing underneath of you. Just get set up and grind, man. That's pretty much it. Like, just set up and grind. You can use a straight bar, you can use a camber bar, you can use the safety squat bar. Doesn't matter. I'm a big fan of the safety squat bar with this movement because the bar's nature wants to roll you over. You really got to drive against it, which, again, we're trying to get that drive up out of the hole anyways. So you're really working the hell out of your upper back. Variation 2, the West Side style. So I call them West Side Andersons because I saw this first on an old West Side video. One of the old tapes, has Mark Bell in it. Louis having him do it with the camber bar off the hassock. Then there's a video where Matt Smith works up to like 700 some odd pounds with it, with the camber bar. And then, and then there's a great article on Elite FTS that Matt Smith wrote about the movements that helped him best with the squat, and it was one of them. He called them squat good morning. That's because you're sitting on the box, right, and you're already dipped forward. Okay, you arch the bar up, you pause, and then you squat it up off the box. And that's the variation I do later in this video. When I analyzed my max effort session, was cambered bar, West Side style with chains. It whooped my ass. Again, it's a movement that's really hard, and for me, with my my arch weakness, this is an arch builder. Okay, and then still you have to really drive your traps into the thing to get it to go. Again, you can use it with the straight bar, safety bar, or camber bar. I think camber bar is hardest for me. Just because that's where my low back weakness is at. I kind of enjoy doing the safety bar with this one because like it really wants to round you forward and you really got to dig back against it. Zercher style. Okay, so you could either use the crook of your elbows or the harness. Either way, it's really going to nail your hips. I think this is a great builder for sumo deadlifters. This thing will, if you really want to pound on your hips, if that's a weak point of yours, or you just want to, do a max effort movement that's going to grind the fuck out of them, do the Zercher style off the pins. Again, you could add band, chain, or straight weight, whatever you want to do with it. And then lastly, we got the Hoff squat. I like to use these every 6 or 12 weeks to kind of dial my technique in with my knee wraps. I call these Hoff squats because I saw an old West Side video of the fucking GOAT himself, Dave Hoff, doing them. Basically, you just squat down until you touch the chain, and then you squat back up. I think this is a great movement to, again, dial in your technique with your gear that you're going to use in competition, and it's a way to get used to squatting without having a box underneath of you, and it gives you great feedback on where you're at right now. Okay, so it's a tester. The West Side style is a builder. The classical Anderson is a tester, and the Hoff squat's a tester for me. Okay, breakdown and analysis. So I did the cambered bar West Side style Anderson squats.
So here I started out with just the bar and a length of chain. It's going pretty good right now. I felt like my hips weren't really turning on as good, so I put a hip circle on to really, get my hips firing. You arch up, and then you squat the thing up. Here we jump to a plate. Okay, I get settled in, everything's arching. I don't like what the hell I'm doing with my feet. This is a problem that follows me around this whole workout, is my feet are like moving around and shit. I don't know what that's about, but I gotta get better at it. Here I threw a second set of chain on, as you can see, but my body wasn't really ready for it, so I had to kind of double clutch it. It takes me a couple sets here to get like kind of used to that, because I'm getting ready to, as you see, everything gets arched up fine, and then as soon as I come off the box, like that extra chain like boom, stops me, right? So I'm like, fuck. So it takes me a little bit to get going here. This set looks like shit too. I'm squeezing everything together, arch it up off the straps. See how my feet are moving around? Like, that's not good. And see how, it's really throwing me forward. Like, I'm not tight enough. My attitude's not right. Like, this thing is whooping my ass right now. Okay, so I think here I finally threw my belt on, and it makes a difference. Like, I'm able to, like, stay tighter, drive up. There we go. So see how it threw me forward, but then, like, I really have to dig my traps in the bar and arch that son of a bitch to get it to finish. Okay, so here we jump up to 3 plates, push it forward, get wiggled in, pull my head back, knees are out, big air, arch it off, grind it out. This thing is so hard. Like, this movement is very humbling, right? Like, this thing is hard as shit. Okay, so then I just threw some dimes on over top of it. Again, pull my head back, arch, big air, arch it up, flings me forward, drive, keep driving the whole time, right? This is one of those movements that teaches you to grind and finish no matter what. I would like to have been cleaner, but I'm not great with the camber bar as it is. So to me, it's still a win. I didn't get to load up very heavy, and the thing kicked my ass. Like, you had to strain, man. Max effort is about that strain. And again, like, it just goes to show I gotta keep building my back and keep building my my erectors and my air and my abs and staying tight and all that other shit, right? So I just gotta do better and keep grinding.
Closing thoughts. The Anderson squat is a great max effort movement. I think everybody should keep it in their us, especially like us, like intermediate lifters. The guys that are more advanced, maybe they don't need to worry about it. But us intermediate guys and intro level guys, I think it's a great movement to kind of learn how to drive your traps through the bar, increase your strength out of the hole, and really teach yourself how to grind. It's a movement that that bar might be sitting there, you're pushing as hard as you can into it, and it just doesn't want to go, but you don't give up on it, and eventually it comes off the pins, right? So it's a grinder, it's an underloader, and it's going to help you be more explosive out of the hole and more comfortable in the hole, right? Paul Anderson helped found this sport, and I think it's important, that people research the old names and kind of get familiar with some of the things that they did. They didn't necessarily have all the science and equipment and stuff as what we do now, but they were still able to build some tremendous strength just through like grit and experimentation. So give them a try. Let me know what you think. If you got questions, comments, and concerns, throw them down in the comments section. I'll try to get to them. This is Montani Barbell, and as always, discipline and determination. Rock on.